Next topic is theory of electrolytic dissociation. Svante Arrhenius gave a theory of electrolytic dissociation, and he gave various points regarding the process of electrolysis. First is, whenever an electrolyte is dissolved in water, it dissociates to give us ions. One positive known as cation and another negative known as anion. Second, only these ions are responsible for the flow of current. Third, the conductivity of the electrolyte depends upon the concentration of the ions, that is, more the concentration, more will be the conductivity. Fourth point, the total positive charge will always be equals to total negative charge. That means the total positive charge is formed by the loss of electron and negative charge is formed by the gain of electron. So the number of electrons given by an atom should be equals to the number of electrons gained by an atom. Fifth point, if an electrolyte is non-electrolyte, then there is no ionization, as no ions are formed and only molecules are present. Therefore, they are bad conductor of electricity. Sixth, the degree of dissociation is the extent to which the electrolyte dissociate. That means how much ions are produced to the total number of molecules. Next in the green box is the difference between Arrhenius concept and modern concept of dissociation. According to Arrhenius concept, it is the water only which is responsible for the formation of ions. That means, for example, if we dissolve NaCl in water, it is the water only which separates the two ions, resulting in sodium and chloride ion. But according to modern concept, these positive and negative ions are already present in the ionic compound, but water just weakens the force of attraction between two oppositely charged ions, and when we pass electric current, it decomposes to give us positive and negative ions. Next is characteristics of electrolysis. First point under this, the passage of electricity through electrolyte causes the positive ions to move towards cathode and the negative ions to move towards the anode. Second point we have already discussed, the number of electrons which is given by an atom should be equals to the number of electrons gained by the atom. Third one, the product of electrolysis formed at anode and cathode itself, since the exchange of electrons takes place only at the surface of the electron. Now what is the meaning of the third point? The electrodes, that is anode and cathode, does not participate in the reaction, but the exchange, the gain and the loss of electrons only occurs at the surface of the electrode. Fourth point, only hydrogen gas and metals, they are liberated at cathode because they are positively charged, and only non-metals, they are liberated at anode because they are negatively charged. Sixth point, the mass of the substance produced, that is, the weight of the substance produced is directly proportional to the current passed or the electricity passed through the electrolyte. This is according to the Faraday's first law of electrolysis. This you will do in detail in physics. Seventh point is, the process of electrolysis is a redox reaction. Now how it is a redox reaction? As oxidation takes place at anode and reduction takes place at cathode. This we have discussed before also. For example, positive ion, suppose sodium ion, it gains one electron and changes into sodium. This occurs at cathode, cation is moving. Same way at anode, anions, it loses electron and changes into neutral atom, reduction occur. and two chlorine atoms, they combine to give us chlorine gas. And last point of characteristic is AC current does not cause any chemical change. Therefore, for the process of electrolysis, we are using DC current because this will cause the decomposition or breaking of a chemical compound and helps in the process of electrolysis. So this finishes with the characteristics of electrolysis.